Hey, what's up everybody? The October leaks are here, and in this video, I'm going to go over everything you need to know for the month of October. To start things off, we have one confirmed event, and that's going to be called the Tsum Tsum Ferris wheel event. Now, I'm not too sure if this is going to be the main event, or it might be the mini event that usually happens at the end of the month. I've been debating this a little bit myself, and I'm starting to think that this is going to be the mini event, and it's likely going to start on October the 25th. So I think this is going to be a 5 days event because this event is relatively short, and I don't think that the main event is going to be short. This event only has 5 stages, and each stage only has 6 to 8 missions. Some of these missions are a little bit difficult though. You will need to use a villain tsum, so if you don't have a lot of villain tsum saved up, then you might not be able to participate. If you want to complete all of these missions, you will need at least 4 different villain tsums, because during the Ferris wheel event, every single card that you play, you won't be able to use the exact same tsum. So if you have a card that has 8 different missions, every single mission needs to be 8 different tsums. Now you will be able to reset these tsums or use the same tsums in the next card, but until then, every single card you have to use a different tsum. And the next confirmed event is going to be bingo card number 34. And bingo card number 34 is going to reward you with a skill ticket. So if you are looking for a skill ticket to maximize one of your best coin earners, bingo card number 34 might be a good option for that. Alright, so let's talk a little bit more about what the main event might be. I suspect that the main event for this month is likely going to be the Dark Dream event. This event came out in Japan in 2023, and it came out at the same time as the Ferris wheel event, so we're likely going to get the Dark Dream event. I just haven't found the image for that for the international version. Unfortunately, we're not going to get Scheming Scar here. We're only going to get a new version of Evil Queen and Chernabog. So let's take a look at the new tsums. For the month of October, we're going to have a total of 3 lucky times. And the first lucky time is going to give us our first 2 new tsums. And then in the middle of the month, we're going to get our other 2 Masquerade tsums. And in total, this month we're going to have 4 new tsums. And at the end of the month, we're going to get one last opportunity at the last lucky time. So these are going to be our 4. And before I go any further, if you guys are enjoying this type of content where I review tsums, do monthly leaks, or go over the selection box and pick up capsules, please consider subscribing to the channel. Your subscription is greatly appreciated. And if you guys are looking for a community of Tsum Tsum players, you might also be interested in my Discord server. On the Discord server, you can ask for help, trade hearts, discuss different characters to use, strategies, or just talk about the game in general. You can scan this QR code on the screen to join the Discord server. I will also have invite links in the video description down below as well. Alright, so let's take a look at our new tsum, starting with Knight Chernabog. The description for Knight Chernabog is the demon king who rules over the demons of the Dark Knight, and the ability description is only 2 types of tsums appear for a short time. So likely for Knight Chernabog, what you'll want to do is you want to make really long chains relatively quickly. By doing that, you'll be able to get a lot of coins and just get a lot of combos in general. So Knight Chernabog might be a good option for those long chain missions that you might struggle with. Next, we have Poison Apple Evil Queen, and her ability description, or the description in general, is Snow White's stepmother who is jealous of her beauty. And then the ability description is clear tsums randomly, and this is interesting because most evil queens that we have in this game generally creates a poison apple. But in this case, it just clears randomly. And then on to our next new tsums for the month of October, we have Masquerade Ursula. The description for Masquerade Ursula is Ursula wearing a festival masquerade mask, starts fever time, and clears a horizontal line of tsums by tapping the screen. And unfortunately, usually horizontal clears are not as good as vertical clears, so likely Masquerade Ursula is not going to be a super amazing tsum. But we'll have to see once the tsum gets released, and I'm going to show you all 6 of the skill levels. Next, we have Masquerade Lady Tremaine, and the ability description is Lady Tremaine wearing a festival masquerade mask, starts fever time, and her daughter's tsums appear after clearing a diagonal line of tsum. And her ability is very similar to Knight Chernabog. What will happen during the ability is the diagonal clear will take place, and then 2 types of tsums will show up on the screen, and it's going to be her daughters. And then you ultimately will chain those and then try to make a long chain, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I don't know how these Masquerade tsums will perform. Once, like I mentioned earlier, once they do get released, I will show you the gameplays for all of them, and then show you all 6 of the skill level as well. Alright, so now let's take a look at the selection boxes, and this month I'm actually pretty excited about these selection boxes. There's pretty good options here. The first selection box will have a total of 12 different Tsums, starting with Tyrannical Queen of Hearts, Cobra Jafar, Scheming Pete, Masquerade Maleficent, Masquerade Evil Queen, Chernabog, Dr. Facilier, Dante, Rajah, Lumiere, Moana, and Mad Hatter. Now, if you are looking for a coin earner from this first selection box, you're likely going to want Cobra Jafar, but there are other options you could go with. Scheming Pete's not also a pretty good option, especially because his ability clears a lot of Tsums during the ability time, and also Scheming Pete is relatively easy to use. But if you are looking for a mission Tsum, the best one is going to be Moana. And Moana really stands out for me because Moana is a really good bubble maker. So if you are looking for a bubble maker, you may want to try to get at least one copy of Moana in the first selection box. The rest of them really not super exciting, so I think the ones to really call out here is going to be Cobra Jafar, Scheming Pete, and Moana. Moving on to the second selection box, and this selection box also has 12 different Tsums in here, starting with Charm Rapunzel, Charm Belle, Masquerade Esmeralda, Masquerade Meg, Masquerade Cinderella, Tiana, Romance Ariel, 22, Timon, Flynn Rider, Pocahontas, and Nick Wilde. So if you are looking for a coin earner from this selection box, you have better options here. You likely will want 22. Also, Charm Rapunzel is a good option as well. But when it comes to Tsums that are good for mission, you're likely gonna want to get Pocahontas. Pocahontas is a Tsum that's really good for long chain missions. But Pocahontas won't be good for coins. Pocahontas will strictly just be long chain missions, but again, coins, you're likely going to want 22 and Charm Rapunzel. The rest of them probably not that great, but those are going to be your three that you want for the selection box. And this month we're actually going to get a third selection box, and this is going to be the best selection box out of all of them. So if you are short on coins and you're debating on when to spend your coins on these selection boxes, you definitely want to wait until the third selection box because there's a lot of good coin earners in here and also a lot of good mission Tsums in here as well. So let's take a look at the 12. First, we have Charm Sly Captain Hook, Dark Fairy Beneficent, Evil Mother Gothel, Horned King, Jafar Genie, Big Bad Wolf, Zerg, Salazar, Gontu, Scar, Honest John, and Gideon. So these are going to be your 12, but not all 12 of these are good. So if we are talking about Tsums that are going to be good for mission, number one is going to be Sly Captain Hook Charm, because this Tsum here is going to be good for bubble missions as well as combo missions. But Sly Captain Hook is not only good for combo missions as well as bubble missions, he's also really good coin earner as well. He's a top 20 Tsum. So if he's super effective for these missions and he's good for coins, I definitely recommend you to at least get one copy of Sly Captain Hook, maybe even getting him to skill level 6. Because he is going to be great for missions and good for coins, and it's pretty rare to have multiple categories that a Tsum is good for in terms of missions. Now, if you are looking for another good mission Tsum, you're going to want Dark Fairy Beneficent. Dark Fairy Beneficent is going to be good for long chain missions. So if you are looking for combo Tsums or any Tsums that are good for missions, then those are going to be your 2. Now, good coin earners outside of Sly Captain Hook, you might also want Gideon. Gideon is also a pretty good coin earner as well. Once the selection boxes do come out officially, I will give you gameplays to show you all 12 of the Tsums, what they look like. And then moving on to our pickup capsules. This first pickup capsule, we have 2 copies of Ghost Dale, 2 copies of Pumpkin Minnie, 2 copies of Pumpkin Mickey, 3 copies of Owl, 3 copies of Carl, and 3 copies of Pinocchio. Pinocchio is the only Tsum in here that's not going to be limited, and that means that you could get him at any point. So he's going to be available in the premium boxes. However, I do want to point your attention to Owl. Owl is a very special Tsum because he is a Tsum that's really good for bubble missions. Owl has the lowest charge up, and what I mean by charge up is you only need to clear a total of 6 copies of Owl at skill level 6 to generate a bubble or to activate the ability. And every single time you activate the ability, a bubble will be generated by Owl. And then also Owl's ability will activate automatically as well. You don't need to press the ability button. So that makes Owl a really effective Tsum to make a lot of bubbles. And like I mentioned, Owl has the lowest charge up, so technically throughout the entire game, Owl could just be dropping bubbles non-stop as long as you are clearing enough Owls throughout the entire game. And then the rest of the Tsums in here are likely going to be just collector's items, and I'm strictly talking about Ghost Dale, Pumpkin Minnie, and Pumpkin Mickey. They're likely not going to come back until the next Halloween, It's really rare for these Halloween Tsums. Actually, I've never seen Halloween Tsums ever come up randomly. So if you are a collector in this game, you definitely want to try to get at least one copy of these Tsums in here. And then as for our second pickup capsule, we're going to have 2 copies of Space Ranger Buzz, 3 copies of Officer Nick, 1 copy of Jester Goofy, 3 copies of Romance Beast, 3 copies of Baymax 2.0, and 3 copies of Princess Aurora. So very similarly, Princess Aurora is the only Tsum in here that is not limited, which means that she will be available in the premium boxes. But out of these 6 Tsums in here, I wouldn't say there's anything super exciting in terms of coins. And in terms of missions, you're likely going to be looking at Space Ranger Buzz. Space Ranger Buzz is a Tsum that's really good at making big Tsums, and that's pretty rare. So if you have any of those missions where you need to make, like, I don't know, 3 or 5 big Tsums in one play, Space Ranger Buzz is really good for that. So if you don't have any Tsums that makes big Tsums, then you might want to get at least 1 copy of Space Ranger Buzz from the second pickup capsule. But none of these Tsums in here are going to be good for coins, and then none of them are going to be good for missions. So only Space Ranger Buzz is going to be the one that's worth getting. However, just like the first pickup capsule as well, is that every single time you get all of the Tsums from this pickup capsule, you will get the last prize, which is that skill ticket. And these skill tickets are extremely rare. You can't buy them with real money even if you wanted to. You just need to naturally play this game to obtain those skill tickets. Because they're so rare, if you have enough coins saved up, you should definitely clear the entire pickup capsule. And to clear the entire pickup capsule, you're going to need a total of 450,000 coins. So keep that number in mind as you are entering the pickup capsule events. You may not want to participate in the pickup capsules if you don't have 450,000 coins saved up, especially if you already have Space Ranger Buzz and if you already have Owl. And here's a quick snapshot of all of the Tsums that's going to be available for the month of October. And if you've been following this channel, typically I would have a nicer layout, but because we got a additional selection box, I kind of had to squeeze everything together. So sorry for the layout here, it is a little bit jumbled. A lot of Tsums here on the screen, so I get it. But let me know in the comments below which Tsums you are excited about and which ones you are looking to get. There's actually a couple of Tsums in here that I haven't maxed out yet, so I'm really looking forward to getting copies of those Tsums. One of the goals that I have for this game is trying to max out all of these Tsums to their max level. It's been pretty difficult because some of these Tsums will not come back for a while, and they're either ending up in the pickup capsules and not the selection box. Even though I have coins to spend, not the right Tsums are coming up. So this month is going to be exciting for me. It's going to really help out on my goal. I'm also trying to get every single Tsum to level 50 as well. I'm only 50% there, so I might need another maybe 6 months to a year to really accomplish that. But anyways, I really appreciate you guys for staying to the end of this video. And if you guys are enjoying this type of video where I review Tsums, do monthly leaks, or go over these selection boxes and pickup capsules, please consider subscribing to this channel. Your subscription really helps me out a lot. And as always, thank you so much for watching.